Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island. Co-host Tina Bird. Just want to tell everybody we've got a lot to talk about today. Hope you're ready. If you got any questions, please go in the chat room and put them in there. If you got anything really important, let me know. Text me on Skype, Hawksblood11, and we'll see if you want to come on. Well, let's go with the show. Greetings, Tina. How are you?
Hello, greetings, Tommy. Hello from here in the UK in Southampton. I do apologise to our viewers. It should have been yesterday we was on, but that was on me. I had a family emergency. So I've been missed too much lately, but it's great to be on. I'm going to dive right in. Me and Tommy are always here. Regardless, we will get the show on the road. Please come in, sign in, or come in and give us a ring, give us your questions, or any answers to a previous show. Hello, Maureen. Today we're talking about other evidence first, and I've got some real good news. It was a bit shocking, actually. Here in the UK, since they released my case file and it went national and international, worldwide, with the UFO Truth magazine, and I was in 4 issues with my account and with all my drawings and everything, and they thought enough people with documented cases had come forward in the UK, and so they arranged a abductees support group, but it's in Birmingham, unfortunately. So I attended this one. It was quite a good one in April, and it was run by David Hodgren. He's chief investigator and he's chairman of Birmingham UFO Group, and he's vice chair or vice deputy of the UK ISA. That's the International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Center. Anyway, while I was there, can't divulge this lady's name, but eventually I'm hoping she has come forward and her case has been documented. I did get a picture with her. She came over and had a picture, and she has emailed me. This lady, we was just going around the room and just telling a bit about our cases and our investigator, and there's quite a few other investigators there in people, said, is there any links between the cases and that? And I just thought, I've always said I cannot be the only one. I've seen hundreds of people up there. This lady that I don't know, I've never seen, she lives the other end of the country from me. I'm not friends with her on Facebook. I've never heard of her, never heard of her case. Either the same year or the year after me, came forward with abduction, an account about her family and her son. And anyway, she went into it. And when it came to me, they pulled up some of my hand-drawn pictures, and I said before about the black pods and seeing the babies inside. This lady nearly fainted. She put her hand up, stopped what everyone was saying, and said, that's happened to me. I have seen those pods. This lady not only corroborated my story, but was so amazed that she'd managed to find somebody else who actually had the same experience, seeing the same pods. She didn't get close enough to see inside the pods. She described the pods. She drew the pods exactly the same as mine. I said, the only reason I knew that there was a baby in the pods, even though they were like a black, is because I was so close that I touched the pod and looked over. She didn't get that close, but she had the same experience as me. So my investigator was absolutely through the roof. You might have to turn that flashing off, Tommy. You're going to have an electric fit in a minute. But yeah, so this lady, again, for confidentiality reasons, I can't release her name without her consent. I'm going to email the lady back. I've just been in a bit of awe and shock, and not relief, but somebody else has experienced the same thing and has drawn the exactly same thing as me. Never met her before, don't even know the lady. It's the first time I met her. So it was a bit of a shocker, 2 of us in the same room together. I don't know what the odds are of that. So that's other evidence that from an independent person at the other end of the country had the same experience, saw the same thing, exactly the same thing as I did. Not something similar, exactly the same thing. So, Tommy.
Well, I got 2 different titles for today, but we're going to go into other evidence. And basically, at this time frame in the UFO history, there's strange things happening, and most doctors, scientists, lawyers, you name it, are involved at different levels, and none of them have a clue what's really going on. I don't know if anybody watches the Skinwalker Ranch. I became a member of that, and I do watch it. It was on last night. They're uncovering some really bizarre, strange things. They're spending all kinds of money, all right, rockets and all equipment. They spent like, I don't know how much fortunes bringing all these elaborate things. Last week, they put 200 drones up at the same time and formed this pattern in the sky. And then all of a sudden they started going different directions and all kinds of weird things. There's energy field that they're over, and they know there's something metal underground. It could be a ship. It could be a power generator for aliens. It could be a lot of different things.
Nice.
But I don't know how much the government will let them come out with. I mean, obviously that's filmed way before we get to see it. And basically, I've been trying to get in touch with them for almost 6 months now. But nobody's getting back to me. I got 2 replies asking me what I want to prove, what I want to say, and all that. I said, well, look, how about I want to give you some information to help you get things a little bit better off than what you're doing. Not one person will get back to me. I get emails from them all the time. Thank you for your payment and all these other things. I said, well, how about answering a question? How about talking to me? I said, it doesn't have to be online. I could bring you on a show if you want, but I could do it offline. I just want to talk to somebody involved with Skinwalker Ranch. I said, if you knew anything about the Stardust Ranch, it was 100 times more exciting, and it was really small compared to the ranch that you're on. But in the interim, if you watch a lot of these shows, they're coming out with videos of entities, which has not been done for a really long time, and demons and creatures. And if you watch the videos coming from around the world, there's so many new kind of creatures coming out. And obviously, even if 1 or 2 are fake and one's real. But when you see them, it's mind-boggling, because even Netflix, not Netflix. Oh, what is it? Well, Instagram. They're putting incredible videos up from around the world. If you go on there and just type it, you'll pull up different sites with multiple videos of ships, UFOs over government ships attacking, and all these other things happening. Either everybody's got tons of money and buys this elaborate equipment to make fake videos, or they're real. Now, the government's not going to say either or, because then they're going to have to say one's real, which they will never do. So, but if you go on there, I watched 100 videos and about maybe 200, 300 pictures in an hour. And I copied as many as I can. You just can't copy them directly from there. I mean, you could film it, which I did just so I have them. But the ships are different. They're not the same ship. It's not just a saucer. It's just not a box, or it's just not a triangle. They're super elaborate. And it would take somebody a little bit of time to create the image if they were making a fake video of this UFO. Anything's possible nowadays, which is scary. So it's so hard to tell the difference from something that's real or something that's not. I mean, if you go to a movie and watch a guy fighting a dragon, it looks as real as it could be. I mean, the old days, they were pretty pathetic. I mean, when you saw the dragon or you saw the robot, you saw the creature. But today, technology with green screen and superimposing and all that, it's as real as it can get. Unless it's live and it comes out and like in 3D and it comes out and faces you. But serious people, I want people to go out there. Look at the sky every night for a week. You got to learn and understand there are UFOs above us all the time. Tina has them over her house every night. I got them over my house every night. So wherever you are, she's in England, I'm in Hawaii. So I'm sure wherever you are, they are. I lived in Jersey for most of my life. I got to see 100 at least going and coming, driving. When Sergeant L18 and I worked up at the Vortex up in Wanacue, we saw things every night. So, you know, there's so much going on. And now, the big thing, I tried to bring this out. I did a show yesterday, Tina. I don't know if you know it or not, but I did a show yesterday. But I was talking about, about a month ago, they released 5 balloons were over us.
Yeah.
And then they confirmed 2 were balloons, all right? And they said they said one was from China, maybe. And what I'm going to say, now listen to this really carefully. All right, 3 of them were never proven what they were. The same week, Hawaii put a video of a UFO over us, and they had 500 call-ins on it, and nobody would admit that it was theirs or ours or anything. So again, it wasn't a balloon. It was definitely not a balloon. But here's the things I learned, people. Hawaii is the first center of defense for the United States. All right. They released last week they were bringing a drone into Hawaii. All right. I couldn't find it, so I typed drones in Hawaii. I pulled it up. They've been having them here for a year already. And what they're doing, they're testing bombs with them and everything. So they got these drones flying over Hawaii, dropping bombs down.
Don't say the drone and the B word. I believe that happened to the Kremlin today. They were under attack in Russia at the Kremlin by a drone.
See, it's crazy what they're going to be doing with drones. But the difference between a drone and a UFO, people, in general, a UFO travels super fast unless it slows down to say hello or whatever. All right. They travel at the speed of light, or I say they can travel at the speed of light. They do incredible movement. All right. And they do things a drone cannot do. But I learned a lot more about. Go ahead, Tina. I got to go back to drones.
Just about I learned something new in my new evidence, guys. So at this reunion I was at, just popped into my head, sorry, there's an astrophysicist guy, and I said to him, is there such a thing as black space? And one of these beings said to me, when they took me to see where these clone babies were going, they made some type of bendy adjustment, because it would seem that we were going just like on the end of a rocket. And I said, and they said they can't fly through black space. And I thought, what the hell? I've never heard of it before. I thought, oh God, it's just, someone's, it's not right. Anyway, so I could only go on what they said. And it turns out, when I asked this astrophysicist gentleman, what's black space? It actually was black space. So I've just got to go. My partner's just on the phone with someone for a second. But yeah, so an astrophysicist said that there was black space. And I said, well, the only thing I can tell you is that new information, if this helps astrophysicists anywhere, there is this black space according to this astrophysicist, because they told me there was black space and they can't fly through it. So if that helps us in any way or helps our military, there you go. Tommy. So you learn something new every day, more new evidence and proven evidence.
I'm here, but I don't have the link to send to everybody. I'm trying to send it to everybody real fast, but I'm gonna have to send a link to come on. But when I want to get back to the drones, I learned a lot in the past week. All right, now what drones can travel a lot longer than the ones we can buy. All right, the ones we can buy, the maximum they could last in the sky is about a half hour. The maximum distance is so far, blah, blah, blah. But these real drones, government drones, I had a friend that had ones that cost $5,000, and he said he could trace the government drones, and I'm talking 10 years ago. But okay, these drones, when they fly them, they got bases wherever they want to send the drone to. They send the signal from where they are to the next base, and the base over there takes control of the drone and keeps flying it. So in other words, they can't have the distance to make it fly around the world, but they have the ability to make it fly wherever they want, but different people tune into the ship, readjust to it, and then fly it wherever they want the drone to go. So they can do incredible things with these drones now. But they look like drones. All right. If you look at any pictures of real UFOs, they don't look like that, period. Second of all, when they're over you, they do make a noise. Supposedly they came out with 2 new drones that don't make any noise, which is a beneficial thing, especially if you're spying on somebody. But they have a tracking system on these drones now, and they could track people. And they said the problem is they can track the wrong person. I mean, it's a drone. It's not Superman or it's not God yet, but they're getting close to being that. But they can put a tracking on a person, and it'll track that person. What they're doing with them, I mean, AI, I want to talk about AI later, but what they're doing with them is far beyond what people would believe or accept right now. Because the government is always 25 to 50 years more advanced in what they're doing than what they tell us. So these drones are way beyond what we assume that they can do. but they cannot travel into outer space. They can't do a lot of things yet. All right, and I'm saying that in the near future they'll be able to. But as far as when you see a UFO shoot straight out into space, a drone cannot do that. If it's going straight up, the signal won't be able to reach it. So there's a lot of things that will prove whether it's a drone or a UFO by what you see. Now, a friend of mine shot 12 ships coming out of the ground. They came up about maybe 100 feet, 200 feet, went around in a circle, and then they shot straight out into space. 12 of them in a row. All right, they weren't flares, they weren't this, that, and he was on the ocean. He had his laser and he had a camera. He was standing on the back of the truck at 1 o'clock in the morning, filming it. He won't give me the video. I've been begging him and begging him. I said, it proves something cool in Hawaii. But he's afraid the government will come after him. But if he put it out, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't come after him because there's nothing to come after.
It's not gone unnoticed around the rest of the world that Hawaii is a bit of an epicenter for UFO sightings, and they're drawn to volcanism, volcanic eruptions and things like that as well. Whether they cause them, is something happening to the earth, I don't know. But it's known, even here in the UK, it's known that Hawaii is a hotbed for UFO activity.
Well, there's a main reason for that. Basically, after Fukushima and all these other things that went down, all right, we're still finding bombs. Just last week, they found 2 more bombs. They closed off this giant area of Hawaii. All right, they laid bombs everywhere across Hawaii. I never knew. I always thought it was just a story of one ship getting sunk when I was little. I never followed the story or got into it. But when I followed the actual history, they destroyed so many ships and so many things happened during that. But they laced Hawaii with bombs everywhere. And they're still finding them. I know for a fact, since I made you buy a Geiger counter, right? I put it in my car and drove to town with it. I'm passing the school, and my Geiger counter goes off on the bottom really high. I said, what the freak is that? I found out there was a bunch of bombs buried there, and they donated that ground to the school system. And it's still radioactive. I'm just showing you the mentality of the human race right now is deteriorating so fast. I'm mind boggled because everywhere I go, everybody I talk to, what? I don't know. Maybe, could be. I don't know. They don't know nothing. They don't want to know nothing. They want to live in La La Land. So I'm going to be doing a couple shows on religion now in the next week as well, because right now in the UFO world, they're shifting over to meditation and talking to aliens and going into the state of consciousness and all these bizarre things, which is not going to help the human race. So as far as, let's get back to other evidences. I want to say I wrote a book on how to see a UFO manual, and it's free. Anybody wants it, just email me. But in the period since I wrote that book, I must have saw 100 different kind of things I couldn't even write about in the book because I didn't see them yet. But I just filmed the bizarre ship 2 days ago in the morning, doing something that I never saw a ship do. So, you think you saw everything, you think you know everything, it keeps growing. They're becoming more outrageous, more defined, more real than ever. But the people want to realize that. And there's nothing good coming out of any of it, people. I mean, look at Tina's life. Look, my life.
Thanks.
My life could have been a lot worse, but it started off crazy. When I saw my first UFO, when I saw my first alien, all those things changed my reality because suddenly I know things are real now. I don't go my whole life assuming something's real.
Another piece of evidence, other evidence is I managed to get, I've been filing to get my videotapes, which I can't get because apparently there's other people in it for, what did they say? Private Information Act or something, because there's other people in it.
Controversial information.
Yeah. Well, I'm having my surgery, and because I want to get the video, I want to get the DVD, I want to get the video. And my solicitor, not long after, filed to get my, it was a 2-year battle to get my medical records from the hospital. So you have medical records in the UK, then you have hospital records, 2 different things. Medical records are from the GP, and you get like letters to the hospital, all your referral letters and like your blood tests and things like that and results. Now, hospital records, your NHS hospital records, are records of admissions, what you've had done, results of surgery, results of blood tests, anything you have done at the hospital, admissions, and everything. So I got my solicitor to specifically ask for histology results, and I wanted the tissue samples results of what they took out of me after my hysterectomy, after my ectopic pregnancies, and things like that. And there's lots of other things that went on at the time. But it turns out they took a device out from inside me. It says it's a like a pregnancy coil device. I never had contraception because I was trying for a baby. Well, at the time, I'd even had IVF treatment. I was starting to go on to IVF treatment. I had everything done. Now, someone who had access to me, either under sedation or when I had a smear test, I've had to insert that device against my will, unknowingly. There's no piece of paper to sign to say that I've had it, no piece of paper to say that I had it removed. They found it during my hysterectomy, which was when it was removed. God knows how long it had been in there. The reason it was put in there, they certainly didn't have my consent to put it in there. So that was very interesting. So I only, going back over my notes and speaking to my solicitor at the time. So that's something I've been now looking through my records thoroughly for. But there's blank pages. Each page of your hospital file, mine's about that thick, and I've got a couple of the files. Each page is numbered, like it's typed, but it's numbered, electronically numbered. So like 1 to like 199. And they're supposed to come in the order that they wrote it out in the hospital. My solicitor received it after she had to get a court order for them to release my we paid it, we got the thing from the GP, thing from me, my solicitor wrote a letter, sent it off. They still refused to send it, even though it's for me. And my solicitor got a court order to go there on the day. When she went to pick it up, they made her wait hours and hours and hours and hours. And when they brought it down to her, it was not in order. So somebody had hastily shuffled through it and taken pages out. And the copy that I have is still pages taken out with blank pages. And they're saying email sent from nobody, received by nobody, holding no information, but an email was sent. How can you send an email without an email address? And how can you receive an email without an email address? So all this undercover evidence is now coming to the surface, but there are pages missing. Hospital don't know where they are, what happened to them. Other histology results pages, unfortunately, are missing. The numbers supposing it starts at finishes at like 80, 89 or 82, and it picks back up at 91. All those pages in between are missing. So unaccounted for. The hospital doesn't know where they are. And when they got a court order to go back and look at the records, the pages are actually missing from my original file, which the hospital holds. So nobody knows what happened to them. Nobody can find them. So yeah, it all is stacking up against the government bodies or bodies working within the NHS, or people that have access to my medical file, obviously had access to my histology results, and obviously had access to my body when I was unconscious or I had an exam. So if anybody has any similar experiences, has any thoughts, please let me know. I haven't signed any document to say that they could proceed with that procedure at all at any time. And there's none in my medical records. So I like to know, that's one way how they treat human beings, unfortunately. But yeah, back to Tommy. So Tommy's now doing his live show. He's just put it up, guys. If you look at
No, I'm not going. I just put it up, but I'm doing it tonight. It should be interesting. It's only an hour, but I look forward to it.
So, yeah. So I'm not sure if you heard that about my histology results.
I heard it.
Yeah. So they implanted a contraceptive device inside me without my consent or knowledge.
That is so crazy.
They found it when I had my hysterectomy because I got the court order to get all my results. Pages and pages of my original file is missing. They're not the
Well,
hospital.
you can't get the video yet.
No, they're not going to release it because it contains other people's images, people that weren't, they don't give their consent.
Yeah, but it also contains what they cut out of you. That's what they don't want to
The
show anyone.
a part of the histology report, to say other information, it says on there that they found a pregnant contraceptive device inside me. I wasn't on contraception. I was trying to have a baby. I didn't have any contraception in me whatsoever. I didn't take the pill, nothing. So how that got in there had to be while I was unconscious. I'm having one of my other operations against my consent, against my wishes, or when I had a smear test.
Well, if it's something they truly don't know what it is, they had to give it a name. If aliens put it inside you, obviously they're not going to know what it is. And they're going to call it something. They can't say an artifact from an alien. They can't say that. So they'd have to say something that would probably be inside you, whether you put it there or not. I mean, a contraceptive doesn't get inside a person automatically. It just, it's like
in the UK, you have to be prescribed it. You have to see a doctor at the hospital. GPs can't do it. It's a medical, a procedure done at a hospital. So and I've never agreed to that at any hospital. So they must have done this while I was unconscious having one of my operations.
Well, that's why we need to get you to do a hypnosis thing, because this way we could get into there, and your mind is probably blocked from saying it, seeing it, or knowing what really happened.
I'm absolutely a fuming.
But that would be interesting. I still hope we can get you to do that sometime soon, because
apparently the gentleman that was going to do it, nobody's seen or heard of since. The guy from last year, the UFO people who he does all the hypnotists for, can't get hold of him.
Do you still have his number?
Yeah, I phoned him and emailed him. He's not picking up his phone and he's not returning any emails.
I lost a friend.
Yeah, they can't find him.
One of my friends I lost, he worked for NASA. And I brought him over to our house to show him UFOs. And he said to me, well, they warned me I can't see and deal with UFOs. They told him that. Because he designed parts for the space shuttles and everything, parts that they couldn't get anywhere else. So we were going to have a party, have a meeting, and we were going to talk about creating a secret society, because he said we can create, he had property and had money. He goes, we'll get a piece of land. Anything breaks, I can make it and fix it. We don't have to go back into town for anything. So we were going to have a pool party within 5 days. Within those 5 days, his whole family disappeared. Never saw him again. But they left his phone on for a year. I work for the phone company. All right? And I tried checking it and see how could it stay on if nobody's paying for it, and why would it be on? Why would his recording still be on it? So they had him the whole time.
Well, my partner had someone tried to run him over a few weeks ago. He actually got hit by a car yesterday up the same piece of road.
A car hit his car?
A car hit his motorbike. He went under the back wheel, yeah.
Is he okay?
Yeah. He's very, very shaken, but this is like
the second time now.
I think second or third time, yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm.
You walk the streets much? Sorry.
Well, a bit. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, but yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. And I was involved with FEMA people. And when John Ford, who shot the best video of a UFO crash, got arrested, I was trying to go see him. And a friend of mine said, well, come over to my friend's house. We want to talk. Went over there. This guy was one of the people involved in FEMA. He had 100 computers in the room, and they were monitoring certain things. And he said to me, look, if you go to see John Ford, they'll go after your family first, and then they'll come after you. So they'll warn you by taking out people in your family, and if that doesn't scare you up, they'll take you out. So this is the game they play. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to harass him. I worry about my partner. She's not into this at all, or doesn't care about it at all. But again, I try not to attack the government as little as I can. They're doing their job. They're protecting the rich people in the United States. That's their job. That's all they care about. They don't care about saving poor people, homeless people, sick people. They care about saving the rich people. And I did this in the show yesterday. I said, all these underground cities and stuff, and all these alien bases next to every army base, and they know it. And not one word comes out.
Notice in is it California and places like that, Calabasas in California, like they've got all the big top-notch actors are moving. They're all leaving. They've had loads flee from California in the last 6-8 months, and even that what's that big huge actor? He's taken all his family to go and live in the desert, hasn't he?
Well, I had the Dirt Star General came out and said he's moving his whole family.
Lots of people locating.
Well, not that it's going to save them, people. Anybody listening, you can move wherever you want. It's not going to save you from the disasters that's coming, because you got UN Agenda 21 on top of what they're doing to the weather and climate, a part of global warming and what it's affecting and how it's going to affect everybody. Did you put something up?
I touched the wrong button, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to make sure nobody's invading our show today.
Don't say that.
But, I didn't get a chance to put this on. Yesterday, I spent 2 hours putting the link up everywhere, Tina. I put it on every UFO speaker's site. I put it on every show, every place I could. So I had to do the show yesterday no matter what. So
I had the family emergency at the hospital.
I understand that. I'm not blaming you, but I said...
Oh, no. Is that... Oh, but just so you know, get this. Talk about other news in AI versus aliens and things like that. My mum, and that was she was out to lunch with her friend yesterday, apart from my partner being run over. A friend collapsed and they took her into hospital. Well, they couldn't send an ambulance, I don't think. They had to pay for a taxi to go to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and my mum said she's never seen nothing like it. She's like a war zone. I think it was like 9 to 96 hour wait. I know some nurses are on strike here in the UK. Because they said they thought it was angina, it was a heart attack, I think. They took her in. And only because she was emergency, she got seen within 9 hours as an emergency. And there's an older lady, because my mum's 75, see. And my mum's friend's a little bit older than her, so they were in this intensive care acute unit for heart attacks and restarts and that. And there's a lady in the cubicle next to him, and the same nurse was looking after my mum and her friend and this lady. And the nurse came over and said, "Look, I hope you ladies are okay." And she said, "Oh, how are you coping?" Generally chatting. She said, "Well, those other people over there are volunteers. They're supposed to be doing a few hours a day. They're volunteering. I'm supposed to do 6 hours a day, and I do 14-hour days now. So I can't cope at home. I'm not fit to be here. I've handed my notes in, and as a nurse, I'm going to leave." She said, and my mum said, "What's the problem then?" And she said, "The government has not told the UK doctors to go back to work from COVID. There are a lot of them still isolating or just working from home. Some GPs have gone back. I think that's surely because of their workload or where their practice is located or whether they live there, I don't know. But most of the A&E doctors and hospital doctors have not gone back to work, and GPs." And she said if the normal general practitioner doctor went back to work, they would have 80% less cases. And she said that's why all the junior doctors in the UK striking are making some junior doctors work instead of normal doctors, qualified doctors. And instead of you seeing a doctor, you'll see an ambulance person or a nurse. You're not seeing your actual GP anymore here in the UK. And the old lady next to her pulled the curtain back from where my mum was sat and said to her, "You know why that is, don't you?" And my mum said, "No, why?" She said, "They're waiting. The government are waiting to either waiting for the big explosion." My mum said, "What, the nuclear bomb?" She said, "No, something's either going to hit the Earth or the bomb's going to go off first, whichever it is. Then they're going to bring the GPs out." Now, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. This is really a theft, but my mum took it very seriously. This woman, I'm not sure if she worked for the government or what before. She was a retiree, and she was very adamant that the instructions given to the doctors were you stay away, you stay isolated, and then you come out ready for the cleanup to help anybody that survived. So what does that tell you about the governments and what they're not telling the everyday person? If they went back to work now, you wouldn't have queues at A&E. You wouldn't have nurses on strike. You wouldn't have junior doctors on strike. Things will work out a lot more easier. They wouldn't need to import people from other countries. So it's a knock-on effect all around, lack of information and lack of funding. If they paid the nurses what they're willing to bring free people into the country, we wouldn't have this issue. If the doctors went back to work, you wouldn't have waiting lists. You wouldn't have people dying. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes here in the UK that is not being told to the public. You know, every other country's been told you should prep, you should be prepared. Look at Sweden, look at Norway, like old Scandinavia, even Germany. They're telling people like to prep now, and Spain they're doing the same thing, I believe. Nothing is being done in the UK. Nothing. The price has gone up today. I think for 3 bottles of ketchup I saw as an offer for £10 just for ketchup. It was absolutely, the price has gone through the roof here. And then we've got news, a lot of news we don't get now from the States. We get news on YouTube from people putting it up there saying that the American dollar's coming under decline. They're looking at a crash. And all these things are being put into place. And then again, all the bits and pieces you used to hear, like other evidence, aliens, intelligent, AI, and things like that, are all being doled down again. It's all being overtaken by waiting list, wars, what's coming next, and this and that. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, not just in America, but it seems that the UK are just as guilty as anybody else. Tommy?
Well, I've been dealing with so many things right now. I write at least 10 to 20 letters every single day. I'm working on a new book, which I just started. I just found a person that might be editing my book after 2.5 months. I found a headband, and I washed it and put it on. The 2 days that I wore it, I saw dolphins in the ocean, which I didn't see in 6 months. All right, which is so cool. The third day, I said, wow, it's bringing me luck. I meet this girl that I was supposed to meet months and months ago, the one that's going to get her sister to help edit my book. So all these things happened within a couple of days since I found the scarf. So I call it my lucky scarf. But all these things that are happening are beneficial because I want to get my other book out. It's not about UFOs, but I feel it's really, really important for what's going on in the United States right now. So my new book is going to be about a phone man. All right, about my 20 years working as a phone man, all the weird things. I was told to do that book 30 years ago. And I said, I don't want to just write a story that'll entertain people. But then again, I said, people, that's all they care about is entertainment right now. They don't care about truth and evidence and things like that, real evidence anymore. If it sounds good, they like it. I mean, if it sounds impressive, they'll believe it. And the more crazy the story is, they'll follow it along. So, yeah, I'm going to be going against a lot of things, which I always do. And basically, it's the truth only is my motto. When people say this, or religions, there is no religion on this planet that's 100% dedicated to giving you the truth about God, not anything else in between, God itself. All right, then the second thing is not one person in the United States talks about God directly. Why is that? None of these people had an experience being next to God, a God, the real God, not all these deities and everything else that hangs out below God. And I work with deities, and they're real. They're really incredible. I mean, Buddhism was the first religion on the planet, and they were working with deities. But deities pulled away, and aliens took over, entertaining the world, basically. And I don't know why people think that the Egyptians were smart, the Mayans were smart, the Aztecs were smart. Oh, they knew about history and time. And, well, guess what? All their information came from aliens. They didn't have the technology to travel 1,000 years in the future, 100,000 years in the future, and know that a planet's going to come here 10,000 years later. They had no abilities to do that. It was only races, especially the Mayans, when they were given the Mayan calendar. It wasn't like Joe Schmo said, I'm going to make the Mayan calendar and did it. No, it's not like that. But people rather believe in the greatest stories ever told, whatever it is, and exaggerate it to the point where it's the most important thing that happened. And there is only a few things, to me, out of all the religions that came and went, from Buddha, Gandhi, all these people fighting for religion and spiritualism, and back in the Hindu days, and I Sri Baba, and all those names, none of them talked about a real God. All right? They talk about only 2 religions out of all of them. And there's over 2,000 religions now. Only 3 religions have the most populated people in them. There's only 2 that have over 2 billion people. Christianity and Muslims. They're both over 2 billion. So that's a big percentage of the population of the planet. But then you got 2,000 other religions taking on people, which is limited numbers. You may have 10 million, 100 million. You don't have a large number of the planet. I mean, when people say, well, I got 10 million people following us. Yeah, well, where are they? How many people do you think are in the United States? So the percentage is limited. So when aliens came here, there was only a few religions, only a few. And basically they tore them apart. So, I mean, I can't talk about Buddha much because my partner is a Buddhist. But again, what did they bring to the world? Now, Ekankar is one religion. And I can't even think of his name now. But the other part of it where Ekankar came from, Shab Yoga, was very similar. All right. Half of it was stolen and put in the other. But Shab Yoga, it's a private religion. Ekankar is a public religion. One, you tell people experiences. The other one, everything's private. It's good considering it gives you techniques to work with, but they don't teach you about a real God ever. Nobody does. Well, you do this. Get anybody on this planet to explain what they do in the realms next to God. All right. And all these people say, well, I talk to this person. I talk to this being. Yeah, so what? You can talk to angels all day long. You can talk to deities all day long. What did it help you become, and what did it teach you about life and death? So aliens have been programming people since the Mayans, the Aztecs, and the Egyptians and all them. The Egyptian history is so far from the truth. Their whole idea of reincarnation is ridiculous. So when people today, which is bothering more than anything, think talking to aliens is going to save us. All right, that's why I'm going to go into AI in a little bit, because AI was created by aliens, and it's also controlled by aliens. But I'll get into that when we get to that subject. But it's that time, Tina. But again, everybody, this is something we do every show, and nobody's going to get back to me. No scientist is talking to us. Nobody's commenting on it. I asked 3 different scientists to get information. They didn't reply to it. Let me go get something too, Tina.
Actually, a scientific experiment of the first kind, Tommy, because it's recordable data. You see, the show's recorded. It's out on YouTube. So you can record the data along with us. Now, about 2 years ago, I was having problems, radiation sickness, things like that. And Tommy said, I just thought he was joking. I didn't realise he was real. He said, Tina, no, listen to what I'm saying. Go and get a Geiger counter. So I thought, where the hell do I buy one of them from in England? So I bought this. This is my second one. The first one, I think I dropped in a sink or dropped my tea on it about a year ago. But this is it. I've got it on Amazon. Tommy suggested it. I actually went and listened to what Tommy said and did it. So it cost me about 20 pounds, 18, 20 pounds on Amazon. I'm just going to press the red button to turn it on. Now, at the top, you will see volts per meter, and the bottom one is micro Teslas. Now, when you see mine is not flashing because I have a smart screen TV, a computer.
Mine's on the top screen. How's it? The bottom.
Flashes. Now, I'm just going to come back from it. So it's not my TV going off, not the screen. And oh, look at that. It's already going off already. So I'm just going to put this. And if you note at the bottom, it says safe there. At the bottom, let's try this side. It says harmful. When it comes up here, that says harmful.
See, hers is harmful on the radiation level. Mine's harmful on the electromagnetic field, which is the top field. But what I wanted to say, Tina, something that just happened. I used to be able to take my Geiger counter and put it over her face on the screen, and my radiation on the bottom of my Geiger counter would go off. Ever since I said that 3 times on the show, it stopped doing it.
See, it's not going off now, but when I put it in my head.
See, that's impossible, people. Radiation does not go up and down. It doesn't disappear. 2 weeks ago, she had no radiation. All right, impossible. Radiation doesn't disappear and come back. All right. So whatever's going on is unknown. We can't get anybody to help us figure out what's really going on with Tina. But I told her, and my viewpoint is, her ex-friends, whatever you want to call them, are
They're
keeping
friends
you
of
alive.
mine.
Well, they're keeping you alive. I say that because radiation kills most people.
Thanks.
And what you were going through for a year, losing your hair, your nails, your teeth, passing out, turning black and blue, all the things are radiation symptoms of a person exposed to radiation.
Losing my nails, yeah.
So, but you're still alive and doing okay. Keep on fingers crossed.
I hope so.
But
I had an ECG not long ago.
Now, Tina, if we got government people going after your boyfriend or friend, whatever you want to say, but it's not a good thing. I know I've been having a lot of problems on my show and different things as well. So we're going to have to be super careful that we don't really bug them. I don't know what the word that they hate, because I know people disappear when they say certain words. But like Stephen Greer, oh, they offered me $3 billion, not the $3 billion to get out of the UFO world. Really? They'd give you $100.
Give the money to me. I'll take that bet.
Yeah, she'd take $1 billion. She'd take.
I'm easily bought. Yeah, I'll take that. Hell yeah.
I said,
that's sterling for those who are listening.
If he took the money, he could have created a whole civilization of UFO followers and buildings and everything without his name on it. That's all he would have to do. But since he has to get publicity and fame for everything he says, he's a loser, because there's no way any government would offer somebody $3 billion to shut up. Every movie, what is it? 100,000, $250,000. How many? Even $1 million to take a person out. No, I have 2 friends. One I did a show with T.J. Morris, her husband, took out 139 people for the government. A real famous person, I don't want to say his name, he's claimed to be spiritual and religious, not religious, but spiritual and all those things. He's real famous. His book was the bestseller for years. All right. He took out 44 people for the government. All right. And he's not even being paid for that. So imagine giving somebody $100 million to take some loser out. I mean, it's mind-boggling what people can say and get away with. People believe him. Why? Oh, talking to aliens. Oh, we talk to them, and see a light? They're talking to us. No, they're not. I go out and see lights. You see ships. Are they talking to us? Well, they talk to you more than they do me, but that's besides the point.
One, they're not my friends. 2, I don't want them to talk to me. I just want them to stay far away from me as possible. When they go, no. See, another word I don't like is experiences. I absolutely hate that word. And they're not my friends. I don't think they're that friendly. They don't really like us. And yeah.
Oh, I don't mean that really. I know they're not your friends.
They're definitely not my friends.
People that abduct people are not friends with the people they abduct ever. No. I mean, they're the terrorists. They're the evil person. And I understand why you don't follow and expect Jesus to step in, or God to step in, or Moses to step in, any so-called religion to step in to protect you, because they can't.
No one has.
Not in this reality. So, but again, like you said, you should have support. The government, I feel, I mean, it might happen in your country or another country before it happens in the United States. They might offer some kind of medical help for people that have been abducted, because the symptoms, I told you, I have a friend that works with 125 doctors and lawyers.
Well, the United Nations should have this, and this is another real big hate of mine. What the United Nations have all these laws put in space about who owns space, what's happening when first contact happens. Contact's already happened. We're not even going to cover that issue. But they don't tell you what medical insurance or what medical protocol to follow for people that have been abducted, that have already had contact, that have already been abducted? Where is their help? They could write it down. We're going to offer them this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. And this is what you should follow. Well, aliens don't follow any of that. Aliens don't know any of that. And so what the UN doing to help me? Absolutely nothing.
That's so sad, Tina, because, I work with abductees all my life. And when a woman loses a child, what's she do besides have a serious problem the rest of her life? Not truly understanding it, can't tell the whole world what really happened. It's sad. I mean, it's an abuse. I call it rape, but it's a horrible thing, people. Whether you're a male or female, men get abducted and they play with them just as much, and they do a lot of things as well. But when it comes down to it, how do these people survive in a normal situation? I don't look at anything normal. And people say, well, you're weird, you don't laugh. I say, I can't laugh. As long as I know aliens and governments are destroying the world, taking away children and all that and allowing it, how can I be happy? I was in a religion in Eckankar, and I used to talk about Jesus. Well, Jesus was only a such and such. I said he was the most spiritual person that ever walked this planet. And they classify him as like a second initiate in a movement that goes up to 5, like fifth initiate. And I kind of left Eckankar. A lot of things went down in between that. But the truth is, Jesus was the only one that talked about a real God, the only one that taught about a real God, not anything else. But then again, well, he had 32 psychic abilities, which no other person on this planet had. So to say he's less than anybody else is ridiculous. So for me, when I hear religions, any religion saying, well, the Pope's a liar. I just did a whole thing. I wrote him 10 letters 2 days ago. He said a whole bunch of things. I mean, he came out and said hell doesn't exist. Adam and Eve's a fake story. I mean, it was a fake in a lot of ways. But again, if you've got a religion based on a foundation, you can't change the foundation, or you're creating a new religion. I said the Pope should just create his own religion. Pope, whatever you want to call it. But don't destroy what people have, especially when you got 2.5 billion people following it. A lot of people don't like the Pope now because of what he's doing. So, and that's this world. Now you bring aliens into the picture. They don't care about us. They don't care about religion. They don't care about our government. So what do you expect to get from them? Oh, they're going to save us. I said, what could an alien tell you that would help you live the rest of your life happily? Well, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm not going to take you up in my spaceship and bring you to a planet to serve you as food. What would they tell you that would be beneficial to you? All right. I know, like Travis Walton and these other people, there's another person who just came out too, going about his story. I said, well, where's proof that anything good could come out of it? They never did anything good for human race since the beginning of time. And I don't think people understand that. Oh, well, the good aliens are coming now. Well, the good can't overpower the bad at any time on this planet. This is hell. The darkness exists higher than the light any given day. How many people walk around this planet with light shining out of them?
How many good aliens take people, abduct them, torture them, and put them back? And how many good aliens actually kill people accidentally by abducting them because they're allergic to light or procedures and stuff they give them? And these people come back paralyzed. And that is a documented scientific fact.
Well, that one guy that came out, a famous scientist in the college, claimed that out of 100 cases the government gave him, and this is real, you can pull it up online, 100 cases, he said 80% of them have a mental problem. All right, by his synopsis, or whatever you want to call it, by his analyzing the pictures and what they said. Really? And then he said, well, maybe 10% of them were really abducted. How would he even know that? He has no clues. He wasn't abducted. You don't know these symptoms. It's funny how, like in the UFO world, all these people go on about stories, like they put themselves in it. Well, it came in through the window and it was doing it. And they give you all this exaggerated feelings that they'd have no clue. You're not happy. You're not in a good mood in any state when an alien comes in your house, period. I was 12 years old when an alien came walking in my house.
You don't know what the hell's going on. You're not aware of the situation. It's awful.
So TV, I mean, they put out good ET movies and it makes you like aliens. I mean, they watched E.T. too many times, and now there's a new one coming out too. But they watched that too many times, or third encounter, whatever. All these
Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. And then they did Paul, the alien, didn't they?
when they make things look good. All right. Now you just I don't I can't
Humanize
say
them.
it.
They try
Sorry.
to humanize them, and they're not like us.
They're not like us. They don't care about us. They don't have feelings and emotions like we do, people. None of them. Oh, well, what about this
Totally
race and
different
that race?
species. Don't even
Well,
think the same.
Alex Collier was the first person speaking in the UFO world about the Andromedans. He came out maybe 30 years ago with all these experiences and everything else. Everything he said never came true. Not one thing. He prophesied about events happening, which came true. But when he said about aliens, nothing came true. Now, the other thing that's taken over 90% of the people talking with aliens and working with aliens is the Galactic Confederation. Even all these, I'm not going to say all the names of the people that say, well, I'm going to take you on a Galactic Confederation ship and blah, blah, meet your friends and meet your family, and all these words. All right. It's a program. There's no Ashtar Command. There's no Galactic Confederation real group of geniuses or good people anywhere. And they come out, well, they're going to come and take people up next year at 12 p.m. on this mountain. Everybody goes up there, nothing happens. And then they come out, oh, it happened in a different dimension. Well, obviously they didn't come down and take you, did they? So, the stories they create get bigger and bigger, and less happens from it. So people, Tina knows what a ship looks like. I know what a ship looks like. I know what an alien looks like. When you see it, it's no longer a good thing. I mean, and if they were good and had any good feelings, you don't think they would stand in New York City, come out with their bodyguards and say, greetings, people. We got something to offer you if they wanted to help us. No, they don't help us. What could they help us do? Stop being mentally disturbed, sick, retarded, whatever words you want to use, or just plain drunk, drug addicts? What are they going to do? Oh, I met an alien. Now I'm healed. Really? What do you think an alien's going to tell us about a real God? Of course they're not. They don't have a clue. And people don't know this. And I'll tell you straight out. Aliens reincarnate into human bodies.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many people walking around saying, oh, I was an alien. I'm an alien. I'm a walk-in. And all these words they use because they're aware of it, but not fully.
I don't want to be alien. I'm a human being.
I don't want to be alien. I made it this far. Why would I want to go that level? No, I wouldn't. People, we all have a chance to find who we are. And it's not going to be from an alien, and it's not going to be from our government, and it's not going to be from your religion. It's inside you. And if you don't look for it, you're not going to find it anywhere else. Aliens aren't coming here with gold bricks for everybody. They're not going to be friends with us in any way, people. Well, I say this. I say watch the movie V, the long version that was on TV 6 months. Watch it. If it ever went down and they really wanted to believe they were good, that's how it would go down. Watch the movie. Because they came down, they had the ships around the planet, and they said, we're going to heal you, we're going to help you, we're going to make you better people and all that. And what were they doing the whole time? Building a hive to have all their little alien friends grow here and use us as the seed to grow them. So, I think it's so real. If it does go down, if that really goes down anyway. Or I said, if they were really spiritual, it would go down like the day the earth stood still. All right. They come here and say, look, you got two chances. You either do this or we'll destroy your planet. And that's the way it would go down. I mean, people are pretty lame about listening to anybody. But when it comes to life and death, they suddenly bend over. So here's the thing, people. Are you ready for the truth? Do you want the truth, or are you going to hide from it the rest of your life, however long that is? Oh, people don't want to die because they're afraid they don't know when they're going to go either. So it's not much you can do for most people, but I try the hardest. Tina, I don't know. Do you need to go right away? Are you going to go?
I'm going to go. I'm going to prep some stuff for next week, but again, sorry about yesterday.
Tina, tell everybody about your books before you go.
Oh, don't. It's been an absolute nightmare. I've got 2 books pending, and I just can't get them out on Amazon. Amazon technical department doesn't know why I can't upload them or why they can't receive them. They've tried and can't do it. I've tried and can't do it, and a few other people have tried and cannot do it. So they're not quite sure what is going on. So I've got a book part 2 to the checkpoint called The Two-Edged Sword waiting to come out, and I've got the Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction waiting to come out, and I've also got a new talk lecture called The Human Side of Abduction. So that's coming out as well, and I'll be giving that on the 20th May this year in a place called Pusey in the UK. And I think I'm the first speaker on, so come along to Pusey Hall, have a look on Miles Johnson's doing it, so look up Miles Johnson or Tina Bird on Facebook, and you'll see that I'm giving a lecture for an hour about the human side of contact. So that's also the title of my next book, but I've got to get
just before you go, I have a friend, I met her 2 weeks ago. She's an author publisher. She said she'll read your book. If she likes it, she'll publish it. All right.
I've done it. Just got Amazon can't seem to publish it. They can't upload it. It won't upload to Amazon for some reason.
Well, she has her own publishing company and everything.
Okay.
So, but again, I asked her, would she edit my book? I have to pay her to edit my book. So, but she said she'd publish it for free. So again, I need to talk to you about that. I don't know if you want me to send the stuff on Skype or what. Her address and phone number.
Send her details to me on Skype on message, and I'll get back to you. But with that, guys, Tommy's been absolutely great. Every week he comes up with something new, and he's powering away, and he's fighting for good. So well done, Tommy.
Pleasure.
Yep. Tommy's put his email address, I believe, at the top. No, Tommy's going to put his email address up. So if you want to contact him about the shows, questions, answers, anything else you want to come onto our show, or just say hi, guys, please, we'll try and put it up every week. Guys, come back, come on the channel, say hello. And from me, Tina Bird here in the UK, I'll see you next week. And with Tommy, this is us for tonight in Encounters, and Tommy's going to go on and do the show. And if you look at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, at the bottom there is Tommy's email, so please email. But for me here in the UK, that's it till next week, guys. Tommy in Hawaii, bye-bye. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, that first link I put up, I screwed up. Sorry about that. All right, I just want to go into one thing before I close the show out today. It's called AI, artificial intelligence. Well, I don't know how much people understand about it. I mean, what brought the attention to what it really is when the Tesla car came out, a self-driving car. And I mean, now they got self-driving planes and drones and all kinds of things right now. Artificial intelligence inside this one plane they put out now. A lot of different things are happening. But one company is going to update its computers and update the store. Across the United States, they're going to be putting 5,000 people out of work, one company. And all these things are going to start happening in great numbers. Because if you had a choice, you have 500 workers working 10 hours or 8 hours a day, right? 5 days a week. You can have 100 drones, robots, working 24 hours, 7 days a week, and not pay them anything. Which way would you go if you were trying to make money? People that make money only care about making money. They don't care about people's feelings, emotions, how they live, what's going on in their life. They just care about how much they can get away with making them work to get them more money. That's what life is. Rich people are in a very negative state because they don't care about poor people. If they did, they wouldn't be rich. I met a woman, she was a witch. She won the lottery. She won $1 million. She gave it away within a year and a half to all her family. You know, people with some kind of feelings can't be a multimillionaire and a billionaire. People that think they're God or play God, like all the top people in that world, try to control the world to what they think is right. Nobody can make the world what they think is right for themselves, for everybody else, because nobody thinks the same. Not one of us thinks the same about love, compassion, life in general, jobs, or anything. They don't understand karma, what kind of a job creates karma and what kind of job doesn't create karma, and the dangers of karma. You can't go to a psychic and say, heal my karma, which they claim they do. All these little things that people pulled into and accept, and they give money for it. I never asked for money, people. Uh, Tina's book, her other book she put out a couple months ago, is #1 on Amazon. Uh, so, but they won't publish the second book, the UFO book. So, people, be careful what you do, where you put your attention, what you focus on. Life is not about love, the love that man perceives. All right? It's not about money. It's not about children. It's not about fame or fortune. The only word that you have to deal with is survival. Survive until you can leave. Period. But what's that mean outside of the physical reality? Learning who and what you really are as soul. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, how does a computer really think? All right. On whose information? Information we feed it? Well, no, that's not true. It only came out about a month ago about artificial intelligence. What they did, they found the 5 top computers in the world and gave it some information and said, what is our future going to be? All 5 computers, different parts of the world, came up with the exact same city and situation. It's like in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 2 of them were evangelists. So when they stole what the other disciple wrote, it's plagiarism, really. But only 2 of them were Jesus' disciples. So when you plagiarize something, it was like saying alien races created this thing. Their technology and stuff is way beyond us will ever get to before. We won't be around to see it, to catch up to them. But when they created AI, we will be controlled by AI within 10 years. UN Agenda 21 says one world order, one person controlling the world. Who will that person be? All right. Now, people don't want to go that far. Oh, that's not going to happen. It's not real. It is real, and it is happening. All right. The virus and the next virus that comes out and what's going to happen with the weather soon is all planned, people. Not one person in government, in the speaking world, lecturing, can tell you what's really causing global warming. And it's simple. Not what they're telling you. All right. Why can't they talk about that? And why doesn't anybody talk about the underground cities? All right. Things you should know and believe and understand are real. FEMA camps, they're real, people. What is a FEMA camp? Jesse Ventura had shows for 2.5 years before they took him off the air right away when they realized he exposed way too much. But he exposed FEMA camps. He went to one. He went to the New World Order's headquarters. The New World Order's headquarters. It's over the Ozarks. I think it's right over the base, the gateway to get into one of the underground cities. All right. And he showed it and proved it. All right, people. It's not stories. It's not make-believe land. You might live in make-believe land and Jesus is watching over you, or Buddha, or anybody you want is watching you and protecting you. You're here on this planet until you die, and you're not protected from anything. I'm not saying spirit or soul, whatever word you want to use, can step in and help you. But it would only help people that deserve it. It's not going to help a mass murderer to get out of jail and go back out and be a free murderer. No, it's not that kind of an energy. But if you're a spiritual, walking a semi-spiritual path, not creating karma, and you're being pulled into the world karma, it will help you stay clear of certain things. Soul can. If you listen to your own self, meaning yourself as soul, soul's aware of the past, present, and future, short before and short after, meaning when you take a step, it knows what you're going to step into. And if you listen, it will help you 90% of the time. All right? I mean, you can take a step, but if you're falling off a cliff, no matter where you take that step, you're going to fall off a cliff. But if it says, hey, don't take the step in the first place, and you don't listen, it's your fault. But your mind will say, hey, no, take a step. You can take a giant step and get away with it. Learning how to listen to your own self is more important than anything else you can learn. It will save your life on a scale of 1 to 10, 10, always. Because it knows what's going to happen. Now, when these people claim to be psychics and all these things, knowing what's going to happen and being able to change it are two different things. Two people I know, both prophesized 9/11, one in great detail, everything that happened. But the only sad part was neither one of them were in front of the Trade Center when it went down. None of them stood there fighting for what they believed in and said that they knew. If you know a train's going to run over a little baby at this certain point, what do? Wait till it happens. See, I said, I told you so. No, you stop it. Now, when you believe in stories at all, and whether you want to believe the stories or not, Sodom and Gomorrah, all right? She didn't listen. When Noah, and he was told what to do, if he didn't listen, guess what would happen? Half of the world would have been destroyed. On top of what that already was destroyed. All right? So, people, it's time to wake up, time to give up your stories, your fairy tales. Nobody is protecting you here on this planet. Nobody. No matter what level you are, wherever you think you are, you're going to be taken out in a second. And now in the government field, in the Army and Navy and Marines, there's a chip put in these people now. And they could put something inside their blood to take them out within a second. I mean, you can't survive the world way it's going unless they want you to. And if you're poor, don't worry. They're not going to care about you at any level. Aliens don't care about many people either. They're not too fussy about who they abduct. And I'm not going to tell you a secret to not get abducted because you won't believe it anyway. So, but again, people, the truth is out there. And you're not going to get it from going to a UFO conference. You're not going to get it from listening to some spiritualists claiming all these things. You'll become a super fifth level being, and which all these speakers are coming out and saying, oh, 6-dimensional beings and all these things. You'll become your higher self. You are your higher self. All you got to do is be aware of what you need to do and not do. That's all. Just live life without hurting people. That's all. Nothing more than that. And be prepared to leave and learn what's going to happen when you leave. Not how many schools you can build, how many cars you can build, how many planes you can build, how many children you can have. It has nothing to do with that. That's all the stuff laid upon you to keep you here. All right? Religion's fake. All of them. They get a piece of the truth and they make a story out of it and they exaggerate, change it, twist it to pull people into it. And somebody's making money on it. Or lots of people are making money on it. You ever notice what the Pope wears, the gold and the money and all the things that are around that? While people were fighting and killing each other for religion? You know, people that claim to be spiritual are not. People that claim to be religious are not. I never say I'm religious, ever. I never say I'm spiritual, never. I say I'm walking a spiritual path. When it becomes spiritual, I will not be here. There will be no reason to be here. And that's what souls are here to learn. And when you learn that, you can leave whenever you want. Well, I don't want to leave. I got 10 children. Well, whose fault is that? I got 10 businesses I'm running. So? Do you think they care if somebody else runs it than you? You know, we think we're better. And all these people out there telling you, you can be better than you are. You'll be the best you. No, you're not going to be better because you're rich. You're not going to be better because you have a better car, a better house. It doesn't make you better. Aliens have no clue to any of it, and they don't care. They gave Tesla 50 of the most deadliest weapons. Einstein worked with aliens, people, whether you want to know that or not. I'm telling you the truth. They gave him false information. Why would they do that? They were playing with him. They gave him some real facts, but he didn't even know the truth about time travel. The most important thing today, he didn't know much about it. He said we can only go one way. a lie. Aliens have been going back and forward all through history. Out-of-place artifacts are implanted. They're put somewhere so people find them and think something different. Or they want to change our history, which they have been doing always. Think aliens want you to know that they came here and destroyed the way we think and reprogrammed us? To be evil beings? Which we all are in general. Oh, who's we? I'm not. Well, you can say you're not. Where's your black dark side? All right. What is it facing? Did you ever face it completely? You got to face it sooner or later, and you got to break through it. Dark night of soul, you might have heard of that word. Darkness, the dragon within, and all those words. You got to walk through it. Because until you face the truth and deal with it, it will never go away. And I'm talking about reincarnation after reincarnation after reincarnation. Some people might not ever. People that are attached. I mean, one religion calls them the 5 passions of the mind. I say what they are. They're physical things. All right, drinking and smoking, drugs, sports, cheap thrills, and sex. Mind program most men on the planet, and it's affecting most women now. It's a deterioration, growing, not deteriorating and disappearing. It's growing stronger. Darkness is sweeping over the planet. Satan himself says, if I give you something, you'll be happy and you'll stay here. Satan doesn't want everybody to leave this reality. Then what would it play with? Nobody. If everybody became spiritual and left, Satan would be left alone. You think Satan wants that? You think people want to be alone? A report just came on the news last night. More people are dying from being lonely. There's more sickness coming out of being lonely. It stimulates this and it does that. And they're only proving that now, right now. Imagine that. Being lonely could kill you. Ask a lonely person. Oh, it sure can. Comedians are comedians because they're depressed people. The only satisfaction, they could see other people laugh. They're not laughing inside. I mean, doctors are the highest in committing suicide. Why? They're trying to help people and they die. Well, I tried to help them and they died. I tried to help them and they died. How do you deal with that every day? If I didn't help them, they might have been alive. You know, taking on things. I go into religion and how it relates to as well. But no, I'm not. But people, tune in again to next week on a Tuesday. I will be doing probably a show somewhere this week on the idea of spiritualism and religion and what a lie it is to the world. By a person claiming power over the rest. Jesus, the most powerful being to ever walk this planet, never claimed to be a god, never claimed to be anything. All right, people, the second a person gives himself a name, whatever it is, their ego is overpowering their mind. I mean, their mind's overpowering their soul. We're nobodies. We're a grain of sand on the beach, on the world. Does that make us better than anybody else? Of course not. It's the old saying, well, if you're a drop of water and you've dropped in the ocean, are you the whole ocean or are you still the drop? You become the whole ocean? No, you don't. Not if you're aware drop. But if you're an unaware drop, you become the whole ocean. Like when people step into the bliss state, they become part of that energy, which doesn't make them anything, but it feels good. But they could stay there for a long time outside of our time frames and realize they're going nowhere. Feeling and looking for joy and happiness. Take a flashlight, shine the beam through your yard, that house, or whatever. Do you think it's happy? Think it's sad? Think it's crying or laughing? All right, it's a different state. And the closer you become light, the less you are attached to any of the ideas even. They're all dropped by the time you do. All right. But when you're in the lower realms, you're still hanging on to the body. And then when you're no longer male or female, guess what? A lot of souls can't move past that. I don't want to be in it, except what I don't want to get into that on this planet right now, what's happening because of that. People are unaware of their past lives, being male or female. And that's why they're mixed up about whether they're male or female. They're unaware of what they did in past lives, so they're unaware of their own karma. They're unaware of everything. So you think they have the right to move into a spiritual place? To do what? I'm going to find out who I am. Well, you've got to find that out first. Who are you really? Why are you here? Everybody has the one reason. It's not to become a doctor, a lawyer, a candlestick maker, a shoemaker. It's not about any of that. I could go into Atlantis a little, but all right. They lived in the place called the Garden of Eden. All right. It was the time when everything was bliss and beautiful. We had 32 psychic abilities. There was no such thing as lying. You could see and know what any person's thinking or feeling. You wouldn't rob or steal or any of those things. It didn't exist. It's just like Adam and Eve, the story. They both realized they were naked. When you don't have that, it's not a problem. But if somebody feeds you false information and you accept it, it leads you further and further away from the truth. All right, people, with that, we're going to end the show. I hope you got something out of today. Please send this link to everybody you know. Any questions? Want a book on how to see UFO? My first 2 books are free if you want to read them. How to See God When Truth is Called Crazy. My biography and truth. So, people, I'm not here to make money. Somebody wants to donate anything, fine. I wish I had a night vision goggles, real one. I mean, I got a monocular. Cost me only $100, and it works incredible for what it is. I can film ships with it and everything else. But with night vision glasses, you'll see 1,000 ships in an hour, period. And I'm not lying, people. If you don't want to buy it from me, or buy a couple and go out and do it. I just found out a girl in Hawaii is taking people out a couple times a week, $100 to look at the sky. All right, she's making tons of money. Now she also teaches a class how to talk and how to meet with the Galactic Federation. So people, these people are programmed by something. They all are programmed by the same thing. So imagine what the New World Order will be when we all are under one person, one thing. All right. You heard it here first, hopefully. I don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't do drugs. So people, are you aware of where you are, what you're doing, or why? Why do people drink? Why do people smoke? Still. All right. People can't deal with life. People don't want to deal with life. I don't know what there is good to deal with anyway, but that's besides the point. Oh, the trees are beautiful. The ocean's beautiful. Was. Everything was. All right. Till next time.
Raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. I can't believe what I see, and it makes me wonder why it's falling down on me. The sky's falling. The sky falling. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. I raised my eyes to the wide